Hi there and welcome to my channel. This is Joan-Marie Domino and boy, do I have a fun video for you today. Wait till you see this project. You will feel like a kid again, believe me, when you do this. And I want to thank Donna V. She showed this to me, and I'm happy to share this with my crafting friends. Look at those gorgeous, gorgeous swirls of gloss. Well, wait till you see how easy this is. Now, all you're going to need is some faux flowers. I got them from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be using gloss Mod Podge. Okay, so we're going to start with the frame. I got this from the Dollar Tree, and you may have some frames laying around the house. So you're going to flip it over, and you're going to take the backing off. We're not going to need that. Well, we're not going to be putting it back in the frame. So I'm going to take a plier, and I'm going to remove all these little pins. And it was actually much easier than I thought. And those pins are kind of sharp, so you just want to put them off someplace safe. Now remove the cardboard, but hold on to that. We are going to be using it to finish up this project. So just put that aside, and we don't need that white little piece of paper in there either. Okay, now very carefully remove the glass and put that off to the side. So now we have a frame, and we want to decide, do we want to leave it, decoupage it, or paint it? I painted mine. I used gray and pink paint, and I love the way that came out. Now, we are going to put the glass back in before we do anything else. And we have done this before with the E6000 and the hot glue. Now, the E6000, that's industrial strength, takes about 48 hours to cure, but that's going to keep the glass in. That hot glue, that we're going to put in for instant adhesion. So just take the E6000 and run it along the inside of the frame. And remember, this is the back of the frame because we're going to be doing reverse decoupage. Now I'm going to put hot glue around that. And I'm going to tell you, I think next time I'm going to use a fine tip for the E6000. It just came out a little too thick. All right, now we're going to very carefully take the glass and we're going to put it right back into the frame. And I'm going to press it a little bit, and I decided, it's safer for me to use a wadded up piece of paper towel just to make sure the glass is right up against the frame. So now I have some flowers. I got these from the Dollar Tree. They're just little scraps I had. Now I want this to lay flat when I do it, so I'm going to remove all those little stems inside, all the different ones, and I used different colors, and I did a whole bunch because once I did one, I knew I was going to want to do a lot. So there you go. There's a lot that I did. Now, some of the flowers were a little bit too curly, and I really wanted them to be flat, more like this. So to do that, it was such an easy fix. All I'm going to do is use parchment paper and my Cricut craft iron. And it's green. That means it's ready to go. So I'm going to put the flowers between two pieces of parchment, and I'm working on my awesome silicone pad, which I love. I'll share that with you. And then put the parchment paper on top and just run your iron over it. And the heat from the iron, I guess it kind of melts the polyester and they're flat. Look how pretty they are. Look, they're nice and flat. I'm going to love that for my frame. And you can go ahead and do a whole bunch. Look what I did, because I love doing this. You're going to like it too. So here's a bigger one that I did, and it's a nice bright pink. And when you're doing it, if you want to flatten them, you don't have to. Take a look at them after you iron. Make sure it cools. This one I found still a little too wavy, so I'm just going to run my iron over it one more time. All right, I'm going to wait for that to cool, and then I'm going to add it to my plate of other flowers that I've pressed, and you can see I really did a lot. Now, I didn't like the little hole that was left behind after I took the little stem out, so I'm like, what can I put to hide that hole? And then I remembered I had bought some of these dried pressed flowers. I'm going to use these on the glass as well, and I thought, you know what? I think that would be a good thing to use to hide that little hole. And once I place it down, I think this is going to work. So what I did is I took some Aleene's glue. There it is. This is a good tacky glue. I put some on my plate because if I put it directly on the flower, I know I'm going to use too much. So I'm using a toothpick, and I'm applying the tacky glue into the center of the flower, using my tweezer to put that little piece of pressed flower on there, and I'm going to hold this up. Look at that. It really takes these faux flowers up to another level. So after I did that one, I went through my flowers to see what other pieces of the dried flowers were damaged. Like that one, I just took all the rest of the petals off. Half of them were missing. And now the center of that flower became the center of my Dollar Tree flower. This was really pretty. I think it's like a piece of Queen Anne's lace. And I'm putting some glue in the center of this bright pink flower, putting that on, and let's take a look. Oh, I love the white up against that pink. Now, look through your stuff. Maybe you have something you want to use in the center, or you can just leave it. You don't have to put anything in the center. And by the way, these are rose petals that fell off some of the flowers I bought from the Dollar Tree, so you can use them as well. And I did a plate full. Ta-da! Look at that. Look how pretty they are. And of course, I had to put them in color order because that's the way I am. All right, remember I told you to save the cardboard backing? There it is. We're going to use that to lay out our flowers. It's the same size as the glass. We're just going to get a rough idea of where we want to put the flowers. And remember to leave a little space around the edge. That's where the frame is going to be. And just take your flowers. Be a kid again. Just have fun. Put them down wherever you want. Remember to put them upside down because that's how they're going to go on the glass. And then wait until you have a nice little layout that you like. All right, the next thing we're going to do before we place these flowers on is we're going to make sure that the glass is clean. You know, I've been touching it with my hands a lot and we used glue. So getting it clean is very important. So first I used some window cleaner. When I was done using the window cleaner, I went in and I also used my alcohol pad. I want that glass to be completely squeaky clean. So I go over the whole glass and I'm going to want to make sure that's dry before I move on to the next step. And remember, it's very important for that E6000 to be completely cured before you hang this up. All right, like I always say, prepping is very important to get a really well done project. Okay, so I'm using Mod Podge in gloss because I want these swirls to be nice and shiny and glossy. And I decided a squirt-on bottle was the way to go, and I got that from the Dollar Tree. And look at this. On the back of the glass, I'm just squirting the Mod Podge all over the place. All right, here we go. I'm going to use my fingers, and this is how I'm getting the swirls. I'm just taking my fingers, and I'm making little swirls like that, and I'm going to go over the entire piece of glass. I found this so relaxing. I went ahead and did more, and I really decompressed by doing this. So you want to cover the whole thing and do up to the edges because you may see them from the front. Okay, so there's our flowers, and we did a little bit of a layout. We're going to turn them upside down and start to place them on top of the glue. And remember, this might be your first one. Don't stress about it. It's going to be fine. You're going to love how it came out. Just take the flowers. I know you did like a rough where they go, but don't worry about that. Again, just feel like a kid and place these down. They're all ready to go. You did all your prep work. It's going to come out beautiful. All right, so once you're done putting them in, I'm going to flip this over, and you can see all that Mod Podge is there, and it's all white. Don't worry about that. Give it a couple of days, and that glue is going to turn completely clear, and it's going to be really shiny. All right, so here it is all dry, and you can see the swirls. I'm going to take this outside because I think you're going to be able to see the swirls even better. Now, I know some of you are going to ask me, well, should I seal this? So I'm going to flip it over, because that's where the flowers are. And I'm going to say those flowers are well adhered into the Mod Podge. But if you want, put a coat of Mod Podge on top or a coat of Dura Clear. Now, I just want to remind you one more time that make sure that E6000 is well cured. Takes about 48 hours before you hang it. All right, so I went into the studio with Art, and you can really see the swirls, but I said to him, Art, let's go outside into the daylight. And here we are outside in the daylight, and Art's going to zoom in so you can see this beautiful texture created with glossy Mod Podge and my fingers, and then I placed in all these little florals I got from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to show you some other samples with a leaf, and I have some I did with dried pressed flowers, and I'm going to put more of these up on my Facebook page and my Instagram. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Decoupage DIY with Joan-Marie Domino. Hit the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you share with your friends. I absolutely love doing this. I think you're going to love this. I learned this technique from Donna V, and I'm glad I'm able to share this technique with my crafting friends too. Make it any size, hang it in a window, give it as a gift. You're going to feel like a kid again, and you're going to want to make a ton.